Greetings, everyone. This is Ty. We're doing something different today. I'm giving the introduction, and this is Kristen Crystal, and this is the Pedal Dance Podcast.
Woo! All right.
All
So
right.
today we have yet another top 3 list. Yeah. So, Crystal, what is the episode about?
So, of course, we love to do rankings because we are judgmental human beings, and today's area of judgment involves Pokemon anime episodes. We will each be giving a top 3 list. We all will start off with our number 3, then number 2, and then number 1. But of course, if we have any honorable mentions or shout outs, we will talk about those first. Please comment below any thoughts or opinions on the episodes we select, and even your top 3 list if you have any, because I know there's a lot of Pokemon anime episodes out there, so it's really hard to just choose 3. I know that was definitely a struggle for me. But we need to determine the order and who goes first, second, and third. Of course, I thought of an idea about how we can determine that, and you two can come up with ideas as well. But if you two don't have any ideas to determine orders, I have 3 favorite soft drinks. In alphabetical order: A&W cream soda, a Mountain Dew, and Pepsi. You all guess which one's my favorite, and I'll be stuck with the last one, and that will determine our order.
Okay.
Ty, I'll let you choose.
You'll go first? Okay.
I'll let you choose.
Oh, you'll let me choose? Okay. Well, I know most of my friends, usually when Mountain Dew is listed as one of their favorite drinks, that's typically also what they list as their most favorite. So I'll choose Mountain Dew.
Okay. And I'll go with Pepsi.
Okay, the order is Pepsi, A&W cream soda, and Mountain Dew. Of course, nothing wrong against Mountain Dew. It's my top 3 list, so of course I love them all, but I guess that's the order.
I only like the Voltage and the Code Red ones myself.
When I used to drink soft drinks, my favorite Mountain Dew was either Code Red or White Out. So.
Oh yeah, the
I'm
white.
just basic.
Say what?
I'm just basic. I love the original Mountain Dew.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Well, my mom's a huge Pepsi fan, so that would have been my second choice, honestly. But yeah, so I guess that means Chris goes first, Crystal, you'll go second, and I'll go third.
Yep, sounds good. So, Chris, do you have any honorable mentions or shout-outs you would like to bring up first?
I'd like to give a shout out to 3 episodes. One is Don't Touch That Dial.
Oh, that's good.
Love it.
I love it because it was pretty much the intro to the Johto series. I don't know what that was.
That was realistic.
That was me doing my Totodile impression.
It didn't sound like that on my end.
Oh, my end that sounded very Totodile-ish.
Well, thank you.
Another one is the very first episode, just because that's the one that started it all. So I had to include it as an honorable mention. And my third shout out is Snubble Snobbery.
Yeah.
Snubble's one of my favorite Pokemon, and that episode is one of the big reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
Judge all you want.
Nah, I'm not judging. It's pretty decent.
I'm a judgmental person, so I'm judging away.
Alright, so
I guess it's my turn with the honorable mentions and shout-outs. So I want to do a shout-out to the entire series that should be skipped all entirely. So our shout-outs don't have to necessarily be positive. So shout out to the Black and White series for making all other series seem even more appealing than they are, even though they are appealing. So shout out to them for being the worst. All thanks to Iris and Silent.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for ruining that.
And that brings me to honorable mention. I forget the name of the episode, but just the first episode of the X and Y series just to signal the end of that tragedy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And just also a shout out to the Pokemon Chronicles episodes, just because outside of Ash and the gang, that was probably the next best Pokemon related series without them. But those are all my shout outs.
So, what about the honorable mentions? And did you have any of those? Or
Well,
I don't know, there are way too many.
I'm considering the shout outs honorable mentions. Well, for me, my shout outs are honorable mentions. So
I
know,
guess
right?
my shout outs are dishonorable mentions.
just a negative person.
You're so mean.
I mean, I have a top 3 positive list, so that balances it.
True, true. All right, so I guess I should move on to my shout outs and honorable mentions then, which mine are also identical. They're the same. They're not really a shout out as much as they are honorable mentions. But yeah, so my list of honorable mentions would include the episodes of like I know this was more than one episode, or at least it seemed that way, but it was in the Master Quest series, and it was the one with the baby Lugia. Yeah,
Yes,
that one.
well,
Yeah,
there were several episodes of that, I think.
yeah, it had multiple parts to it, but yeah, just all that surrounding the baby Lugia. I want to say that those were really something special, and there was also this one's a spinoff one, but I also wanted to include Mystery Dungeon, the second one, the Time and Darkness episode. That one was pretty good too, because I really like Grovyle. I thought that was a good character dynamic to have. So yeah, that one definitely had to make my honorable mentions list, as well as shoot, I can't remember some of these other names, but there's another one where uh that one girl with the chikorita, and she's this huge baseball fan.
Casey.
But yeah. I like the episodes that she was in too. She was pretty cool. And yeah, I think that pretty much does it for my honorable mentions.
All right. So that means we are ready to start in the top 3.
All right.
So that means I'm first. Well, crap. Just a fair warning. All 3 of mine are in the first series. Not saying that all the other series are bad. It's just these are just my 3 favorites, and they just happen to fall into the Kanto region.
Okay.
Jen Warner.
Shut up, Crystal. How can I be a Jen Warner with my favorite Pokemons from Gen 2?
Because you can round it down. There are 8 generations now. 2 can round down to 1.
That doesn't work like that.
Maybe you're just trying to fool us.
Do I look like that type of person?
I'm joking.
Well, your picture is Krillin, so...
Hey, don't be judging on Krillin now. My second favorite Dragon Ball character, so watch it. Okay, so my number 3 is I forgot to list these. I listed them, I just didn't put the numbers by them. But my number 3 would be Who Gets to Keep Togepi.
Oh yeah. And even that featured a Johto Pokemon, so.
Well, yeah, but it was in the Kanto series, so.
Yeah, I got you.
this one was just a lot of fun because in the past episodes, you always saw the egg and nobody knew what was going to be hatching from it. And so whenever it got close to hatching, Ash, Misty, Brock, and even Team Rocket were fighting over who was going to get the Pokemon whenever it hatched. They even had a little miniature tournament to determine who it was. Spoiler alert, Ash won the tournament, but what happened in the episode is, well, can it be considered a spoiler alert now?
Well, for anyone who hasn't watched it, then yeah.
Okay, if you haven't seen it, pause this podcast right now and go to animetune.org and go track it down.
Did you do that already? Okay, good. Now, after the tournament, this whole big thing happens where Team Rocket steals the egg, and there's this big commotion in this little hideout where they're all fighting to get Togepi the egg back, and then all of a sudden it hatches, and the first person it sees is Misty, and so I think it has to do with the first person it sees. It automatically assumes it's its mother or something.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, and that's how Misty winds up with the Togepi in future episodes. I just liked it because it was just a really funny episode to watch, especially during the. My favorite part had to be the tournament battle between Ash and Misty, where she was trying to get Ash's Bulbasaur to hurt Psyduck to where it could use his psychic powers. And it kind of backfired on her.
I just really liked Meowth's character in that episode. Personally, he was kind of motherly, fatherly to the egg, and you just don't really see that side of him often.
That's true. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
But overall, it was just a fun episode to watch, and I really enjoyed it. So, Crystal.
Actually, I'm just going to do an honorable mention that I accidentally forgot. I just looked at my dishonorable mention list, and then I'll go into number 3. But honorable mention, because it would have made number 4, was All Things Bright and Beautifly. Just because a lot happened that episode. Pikachu learning Iron Tail, introduction to the Pokemon contest, and it got me to like Beautifly. But without further ado, let's talk about number 3 on my list. It'll be in the X and Y series, and it's called A Festival of Decisions. It's the episode in which Ash's Frogadier evolves into Greninja, and there's like this all-out war going on, and Ash and company help out, and I guess you could call it a war. And that's also when Ash Greninja makes his first appearance, but not like officially. It's within like the water around Greninja. And that was just really epic, unexpected, and at the end of it, it just made Greninja seem even more like a valuable, unique character. But yeah, it was definitely an epic episode in my book.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Even though I don't like Greninja, I'm going to have to check that out. In case you can't tell, I'm not up to date with the episodes.
Yeah.
So, I have a lot of catching up to do.
Maybe that's why you went all Kanto.
Hey, I've seen up to Ruby and Sapphire, thank you, and a little bit of Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, I can't forget those theme songs.
We're not doing a list of theme songs, Ty.
I know. Kind of wish
Save that for another episode.
Yeah. So I guess that puts me at my number 3, huh?
Nope, number 2.
All right, so my number 3, would be the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the Go Getters episode. Now, a lot of people are probably just like, well, why on earth did you choose that one? Well, first off, I've always been a fan of the Pokemon for the Pokemon. So this was the first time where they took the humans out of it. And I just was so hyped up for this to be a thing that I was really looking forward to it. And Yeah, it was probably more younger audience generated to some degree, what have you. But then again, so was the rest of the anime. But I just still got an immense thrill and kick from the whole thing, and I instantly fell in love with it despite the fact. And I wish they'd do more of it because I really missed that.
Oh yeah, I definitely liked that episode concept as well. Any episode without Ash could be mostly an improvement.
Agreed.
Yeah, so, but yeah, that's my number three. So, with that said, that goes back to you, Chris, with your number two.
Indeed, it does. And my number 2 is Abra and the Psychic Showdown.
Okay.
This one has a this one is one of my favorites just because I didn't get to start out watching the anime like on TV or anything. I never knew it played on TV when I was younger. I know, shock, shock. But I remember being at Walmart whenever I was a wee little lad, and I remember seeing these VHSs of Pokemon episodes. And I was allowed to get one of them, the VHS episodes that come with three of them, three episodes in one on one thing. And I remember being allowed to choose one, and the one I choose was the one that had the Ghost of Maiden's Peak, Abra and the Psychic Showdown, and another episode. I don't remember which one it was, but I just
maybe.
Say what?
Wasn't it the Tower of Terror?
Yes. No. It wasn't, because the Ghost of Maiden, Abra and the Psychic Showdown was the third episode.
Oh.
But just seeing Ash make it to the Saffron City gym, just to see this little girl who only laughed holding a Pokeball in her hand, running back to where this older woman sat in a chair, challenging her to a Pokemon battle, just dropping the Pokeball that she was carrying, the little girl, and out comes this Abra. And so, can anybody guess what Pokemon Ash sent out?
Was that supposed to be a hint or something? But no. Anyway, it's been a long time since I've seen those episodes, but I just remember the whole Sabrina thing being rather creepy.
It was, and during the battle, spoiler alert, pause. Okay. And during mid-battle, her Abra actually evolves into Kadabra and just mops the floor with Pikachu. And because Ash lost, Brock and Misty, I think it was after Ash lost, or it might have been before. But either way, Brock and Misty get turned into little dolls and get put in the little girl's playhouse.
I remember.
And now, at the end of it, Ash is going to Lavender Town to try to get a ghost type.
Yep.
And it was just the whole thing of Brock and Misty getting turned into dolls and just seeing how bad Ash got beat. It just made me want to just know what was gonna happen next. I couldn't stop watching.
Yeah, that would get somebody's attention.
Right. And because of how much it kept my attention, and the fact that it was the first VHS, 3-episode VHS that I ever got, that's the reason why it's number 2 on my list.
Okay, that's fair.
And watching Pikachu get his butt whipped is always funny.
Aww.
You already know I don't like Pikachu.
V.
Kind of sounded like a Pikachu Beedrill hybrid there, but still a better effort than I could have made.
Pokemon?
But yeah, I guess I can go with my number 2.
If you try hard enough.
Gross. But actually, I just remembered another honorable mention because I suck.
Dang it, Crystal.
My other honorable mention is Showdown at Pokemopolis, I think it's called. Do y'all
Yep.
remember that episode?
Uh,
Or maybe
the
it was like,
last word's not ringing a bell.
maybe I got the title name wrong, but it was the episode in which it was towards the end of the Kanto series, where Ash and Brock have Pikachu and Vulpix battle each other just to get training for the Pokemon League, and accidentally discover some like hidden cave full of ancient items that became some weird Gengar and Alakazam.
Yep, Pokemopolis.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a shout out to that for being so creepy, and they haven't revived that concept since, which is kind of sad. But without further ado, I'll go into number two. My number two is Round One Begin in the original Kanto series. I absolutely love that episode. At first, I was judging Ash severely for using Krabby for his first battle, and he was just against all odds. Krabby just mopped the floor, evolved into Kingler, even knew a cool Hyper Beam attack, and it just had me on edge, like how well his first round went. Um, I think it really set the bar extremely high for his outcome or ranking in that Pokemon League tournament. But that's all I really have to say about it.
All right.
That was a good pick.
Yeah, it's wasn't expecting that one. But, shoot. Anyway, so anyway, I guess that means it's
Well,
time for my.
I do have a question for Crystal.
Okay.
So it was, did Kingler pretty much just sweep the entire team? Because I really don't remember that episode too much.
Oh yeah, Ash never used any other Pokemon.
Okay. Because that's the one I just remember seeing at the end of the episode. He's just running towards Kingler, just hugging him after he won the match. But I don't remember if he ever used any other Pokemon. So
Who
Well, I
would have
remember.
loved that Kingler at that point?
I remember that scene in particular because it was also featured in one of the songs that they had at the end of the anime
right,
with the
that's why
Pikachu's jukebox. Yeah.
I never got to see that battle. So
Worth
Okay.
watching.
highly noted.
Anyway, so with that being said, I guess it's time for my second one. And my second one is Ignorance is Blissey.
That one almost made an honorable mention appearance.
I don't understand why I didn't. Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen it, hit pause, go watch it, come back. And but now what it's about basically is it's about this Blissey who is with the Nurse Joy task force, so to speak. And Jessie was supposed to be a future Nurse Joy, but she wasn't making the cut, and Blissey Blissey was a Chansey at the time and kept screwing up and what have you. But eventually, this Blissey evolved after they went their separate ways, but they had still hung on to their friendship necklaces, and it was just really off-putting because you got to see a different character dynamic in Jessie, and she wanted to sever ties with her Blissey so that Blissey can continue living her dream, whereas Jessie just couldn't be a part of that anymore. She already knew that going in, so just a very awesome episode, and it's not even centered around Ash or any of that. It's more of a Team Rocket thing, which I know there's several of those Team Rocket episodes out that probably should have made my honorable mentions, but I can only do so much. There's a lot of great episodes in the original three generations of the anime that are just worth watching, and not just the three seasons, but 5 actually. I'd say 5, but 5 seasons in would be better. But yeah, as far as those VHSs you were mentioning, Chris, I did want to go back on that a little bit. I do have several of those VHSs myself. One of the first ones I got was I think it was Pikachu Party. I think that's the name of it. I got that one whenever I was sick with strep throat in the first grade. And I've gotten so many others too. As a matter of fact, when I was in junior high, I got a paper sack from one of my teachers that was just filled with some of the VHSs I didn't have, including the first and second movie.
Nice.
So yeah, yeah, I've managed to add tremendously to my my VHS collection. And the first one I remember getting was at a Blockbuster, and it was the shoot, I can see it from right here. It's the Snow Rescue VHS from the Johto series. That was one of the first ones I remember getting from the Blockbuster. I can also remember when the Kanto ones were at Walmart on the VHS rack. And we also got things like Wake Up Snorlax and what have you. But yeah, those VHSs, if you have them, those are pretty nostalgic.
Agreed.
So, oh,
Sadly, we don't have ours because the hurricane that hit a while back kind of messed those all up. So I don't have any more VHSs.
I still have mine. They were perfectly fine. Katrina did not ruin those for me, thank goodness. I had them somewhere secure and safe.
Yeah, Katrina ruined mine. But anyway.
Well, my house didn't completely demolish either. I know so many else's did, but mine was halfway still standing.
Yeah, we had the movies. I had the movies put up in a storage thing, and the storage thing got decimated.
Yeah, our attic got totaled too. Our attic and the second floor, but my room was on the first floor, so a lot more survived.
Gotcha. All right, back to the topic. Back to the topic.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so I do have one more honorable mention I want to bring up.
Okay.
People always talk about how the saddest episode they ever remember watching is Bye Bye Butterfree.
Oh yeah.
And I just want to say this: it is not the saddest episode I remember ever seeing.
Agreed.
I don't remember the name of the episode, but the episode where Team Rocket releases Ekans and Arbok. Ekans and Arbok and Weezing.
I was a name flub if I ever heard one.
Hey, stuff happens.
Yeah.
But that episode hit me harder than Bye Bye Butterfree ever could.
Agreed.
So is that your shout out or number one?
No, that's my extra shout out.
Oh, okay.
I cried like a little baby watching that.
Oh, before you say your number one, can I just have a random guess at what I think yours could be?
Sure. Ty, do you want to take a guess too?
I don't think I'd be able to think of it right off the top of my head.
Well, just because you said all three of yours are in the Kanto series, that narrows it down tremendously. Since we're up to Sun and Moon, but if I had a guess, I would have to say Primeape Goes Bananas, but I'm probably wrong. Just a guess. If not, then it would probably be the Attack of the Prehistoric Pokemon, but that would be a second guess. But I'll quit guessing.
Well, you can take up to 3 guesses if you want.
I just don't know of a good. What's the episode where Ash versus Lieutenant Surge's Raichu and wins? What's that episode called?
Good question. Electric Shock Showdown or something like that?
Oh, well, since that's your response, I'm not going to guess that. I'm just going to make my third guess, Showdown at Dark City.
All right, those are your 3 guesses? Hello?
Oh, yeah, those are my 3 guesses.
Okay. So, Ty, do you want to guess one or copy any of her guesses or anything?
Yeah, sure. I'll throw out a few guesses, I suppose. I'm gonna say, well, personally, I kind of like the band episodes myself, so I want to guess Electric Soldier Porygon. I want to guess that Safari episode. I can't remember the name of it. And shoot, what's the third one I could select here? Uh, let's see. There was the. Oh yeah. Well, personally, I like Pikachu's Goodbye myself, so I'll go ahead and make that my third guess, just so I can mention that.
All right, so all of you, well, both of you, have made your 3 guesses.
Yep, statistically probably wrong, but just it's fun guessing.
My favorite episode of the Pokemon anime is Showdown at Dark City.
Woo! That was so close to my honorable mentions. I really liked it. That's why I brought it up.
Ash and the gang make it to this town. It looks abandoned. Looks trash, looks deserted and everything. But it is not deserted. There is a rivalry going on between 2 gangs with different mascot Pokemon. One being Electabuzz,
And the
and
other being.
Scyther.
Yeah, and I have it on VHS. I don't know how I could forget the name of that one.
Such a great episode. Just watching the whole battle between the two clans just go at it was really fun. My favorite part of the well, first I want to say this. Does anybody remember the names that Ash, Misty, and Brocky use?
They were all food related. Tomato, Caesar salad. Was Misty's like anchovy or something?
Yeah, that's it.
That's
That
right.
was it.
Tomato, anchovy, and Caesar salad.
Also known as the ketchup episode.
Yes, where we found out that Pikachu has an unhealthy obsession with ketchup.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But-
figure that's probably another reason it's your favorite is you got to see Pikachu cry.
Well, no, this was actually before my hatred of Pikachu developed.
Oh, okay.
I used to not hate Pikachu, if you can believe that.
I can. I can actually.
I just wish Dark City would have been a thing in the Pokemon games. It seems like a
Oh,
fun little
I-
town.
Yeah, imagine getting in the middle of that.
I would just love to see another episode like that, just another clan rivalry, and Ash and Co. or whoever the main character is and company have to try to settle it out between them. Because that was just a fun episode to watch.
And
And
I
just
have
seeing 2 of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon in Electabuzz and Scyther, which I prefer Scyther over Electabuzz, but
really, I prefer it the other way around. I didn't
You're
care for
lame.
Scyther until I found out what it evolved into.
I've always liked Scyther.
And
By
now
far one of the coolest Gen 1 Pokemon. By far.
one of my Pokemon Go missions right now is to actually evolve a Scyther.
But yes, by far, Showdown in Dark City. Congratulations, Crystal, for guessing it.
Oh yeah, definitely a worthy episode of guessing. It's really great. But I guess we'll move over to my turn. Of course, I did not just choose Kanto related ones, so you all can guess if you want, but just statistically, you're all less likely to guess it. Do you all have any guesses on which episode's my favorite of all time?
Okay, well, give us a hint. What region?
It was in the Hoenn region.
Okay, that marks me out.
I want to guess the one where it was Maze Blaziken versus Ash's Sceptile. I can't remember the name of that episode.
That
But
was
something tells me it's a contest episode. That's the biggest contest episode I can think of.
It actually was not a contest episode. It was actually one of the rare Misty episodes in that region. In fact, the episode is a Togepi Mirage.
Oh yeah, that one.
Like, you talked about how a lot of people think the Butterfree episode is the saddest, and what did you say? Oh yeah, the Arbok and Wheezing was your saddest. For me, Togepi Mirage was my saddest. Like, it just really hit home. Like, Togepi essentially sacrificed it. Oh crap! Spoiler alert, Chris. You have
Yeah,
to
I know.
listen to this since you're in the podcast.
But yeah, that one.
But
I
yeah,
totally agree.
sorry.
I was gonna say I totally agree with your selection there. That one was very just, oh my gosh. Like I never thought Togepi was going to evolve. Another spoiler, but still. Uh, but and I don't know who would honestly even listen to a podcast like this without knowing firsthand there's going to be spoilers.
Yeah, fair point. But yeah, it just hit home. Like Togepi, like sacrificed itself and then parted ways with Misty, and just to protect the Togepi family, and all that Togepi unity was just so cute and adorable. And it was also really cool how Misty had a Gyarados that we didn't know about and a new flamethrower. And it was an episode involving Shedinja, which I think is one of the cooler Pokemon. But it was an episode that just really tugged on my heart tremendously. And I love Togetic. Like, there were reasons why it was my first Pokemon of the week on this podcast. But yeah, I guess that's all the commentary I have.
Yes, so with that being said, I guess it's time for my number one. And this may come as a shock to you as well, but this one is also a Togepi episode. Because it seems to me that's one thing we've all had in common so far is Togepi episodes. Well, mine is from it's from the fourth season, the second season in Johto, and it's called Houndoom's Special Delivery. Okay, again, it's another one of those episodes that doesn't entirely revolve around Ash, but Togepi gets separated from the rest of the gang and makes an unlikely new friend with this Pokemon Houndoom. And so the entire time, the gang's trying to track down Togepi, and this Houndoom is just chauffeuring it around the woods on its way to its destination because Houndoom eventually gets to a point where it takes pity on the poor thing, and it's just like, you're coming with me. And it was just like you saw this Pokemon that a lot of people would have thought otherwise as threatening, being this cute, adorable, parental figure to this egg, and it's just so cute. And there's also this really amazing song in the middle of it as well, and you even got a glimpse at a Raikou while the song was playing, and it was just really adorable, I thought. And it's still one of my favorite episodes to this day. I just absolutely love it. I know it's not a sad episode, but who said sad episodes had to be your favorite?
Nobody. That's why it was one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I only like the sad one the most just because most episodes are usually happy, heroic, just common themes, and I liked episodes that deviated away from the norm. That's probably another reason why I liked my episode. But yeah, the Houndoom special delivery episode is also great. But Chris, I did notice you were silent when we were going over spoilers with mine. Were they spoilers you'd prefer not to hear about?
Oh no, I had to step away for a minute. I listened, but I just had to step away. Some Dorothy came out, so I had to talk to her for a second. But I did hear everything that went on.
I was about to say, because I know you said you watched up to the Ruby and Sapphire and even some of the Diamond and Pearl, and if it's from the Hoenn generation of anime, then that would implicate that you have indeed watched that episode.
Yes.
So it's not so much a spoiler for you as much as it potentially may be for the audience. So.
Right.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I guess that concludes our episodes. However, Ty, would you like to go ahead and share your Pokemon of the Week information?
Okay. So, this particular Pokemon, its ability is Overgrow. It has more than one color, and yes, that one of the colors is green. Okay. And let's see. And it also has what appears to be little bells on it. Would y'all like to guess?
I mean, my mind's definitely narrowing it down, but I have too many options just to guess one, so I'm gonna fold this turn.
Yeah, I fold.
Okay. All right. So I guess that means I'm gonna have to do multiple choice. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give 4 answer choices here. All right.
Just
So we
remember, Ty,
have.
one of them has to be the correct answer.
I know that. Okay. So the options are Venusaur, Chestnut, Sceptile, or let's see, who do I want to use for? Or shoot, trying to think what else. Or Floor Gorgeous. I hope I said that right.
Wait,
I
what
guess
Pokemon?
What?
What Pokemon did you just try to say? Sorry, the signal cut
Uh,
out.
Florges.
Oh yeah, that's how you say it, but if I had to guess any of them, I'm gonna go with C, Sceptile.
Sceptile.
It is Sceptile.
Of course.
Yeah, I was actually thinking between Sceptile, Chikorita, and Bayleaf, so I'm glad they weren't on the list.
Yeah, that's what I was choosing too. That's what I was stuck in between as well.
There was yellow little these yellow round things on the back of Sceptile,
When
and
it's
to
mega,
me, I always thought that they looked like bells. So I don't really know how the Chikorita line falls into that, but
Oh, around their necks, their seeds could also look like bells, so
yes.
a bell could be very diversified, so I didn't want to make any assumptions.
ah, yeah, I didn't really think of it that way, but that's a creative aspect to look at. I mean, I'm sure it probably would have given it away if I said its other ability is Lightning Rod.
Oh yeah, Overgrow and Lightning Rod, that gives it away completely.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yep.
But
So, do we have any other comments before we close out?
it is so hot. There's my
I know it's hot. Right, I just got through looking at our heat index, and it ranges between like 100 and something and 90 degrees. The Gulf Coast of Mexico is no place to live.
Well, I'm glad I live in the Midwest.
well, that has been it for this episode of the Pedal Dance Podcast. Crystal, would you like to take it out like usual?
I suppose, but since you're making us switch up the intro, you all can do the closing at any other time, but we can discuss that after the
Well,
podcast.
since I
So,
did the intro, I might as well do the closing if we just want to be different.
oh yeah, then I guess go ahead and do the closing if you're comfortable.
Okay. So now that you've heard our podcast, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, report us if we somehow offended you. If you have any commentaries you'd like to make, there's a comment section below. On top of that,
Share with your friends to where you can all make fun of us together.
and
Just have
now
fun.
so it's only fair I interrupt, so y'all are interrupting me. I guess that's only fitting, yeah. But yeah, so anyone else have anything to add?
I'm good. Crystal?
I have nothing but Cricketune.
Okay, so I suppose that concludes the rest of our podcast. We'll catch you on the next one.
Later.
Adios.